A very good morning to you and welcome to Global TV's news cycle. In Nigeria's capital, Abuja, I am Judith Peters. The organized labor has stormed out of the meeting of the Presidential Steering Committee on Subsidy Palliatives that was scheduled to take place at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The president of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, had led his delegation to the Chief of Staff's office, venue of the meeting at about 5 p.m. for walked out of the villa moments later. The meeting could not proceed because, according to some members of the steering committee, there was no quorum. Recall that the steering committee meeting had met with the government delegation on Wednesday, where the two parties agreed to reconvene on Friday to get brief from the three sub-committees set up to look into various demands. The steering committee was set up by the government to come up with palliatives that would cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the workers. But Labour claimed that government officials who are members of the mass transit, the compressed natural gas, CNG, and cash transfer subcommittees were nowhere to be found. It was gathered that the Chief of Staff, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, had earlier waited for the Labour delegation with other members of the team at his conference hall. And now the President Tinubu to host ECOWAS special meeting on Niger, following the coup in Republic of Niger that has upended the constitutional political leadership in the West African country. The chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will host a special meeting of the regional leaders on Sunday, July 30 in Abuja. This was contained in a statement signed by Dele Alake, the special advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy. President Tinubu, as chairman of the ECOWAS, in a statement condemned the current political situation in the neighboring country and promised that ECOWAS and the international community will do everything to defend democracy and ensure democratic governance continues to take firm roots in the sub-region. And now, in separate telephone conversation with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, United States Vice President Kamala Harris and United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed strong support for Nigerians' effort toward the restoration of constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake. The two leaders also commended the Nigerian president, who is also the chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, for spearheading the peace moves. Recall that some soldiers from the Presidential Guard had moved to depose President Mohamed Bazoum's. President Tinubu quickly rejected the threat to democracy in that country, sending a strong delegation to talk with all the parties with a view to restoring constitutional order in Niger. In a telephone conversation with President Tinubu at the instance of the U.S. authorities, Harris praised the reform initiative of the federal government, urging the country to continue in that direction. Also, the Senate will, on Monday, commence the screening of the ministerial nominees submitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday. This is just as indication emerged that the president will create new ministers and from his full cabinet in 2 weeks. Speaking shortly after the names of 28 nominees sent to the federal lawmakers, the Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu Ekiti South says the upper chamber had suspended all its activities to commence the screening immediately, saying screening will commence on Monday. Having read out the names, the Senate referred the list to the Committee of the Whole. However, they noted that the Constitution prescribed that the President shall appoint at least a minister from each of the 36 states of the Federation. The list sent by the Tinubu contained names of nominees from 25 states, leaving out 11 states. Also, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to rehabilitate the Eastern Seaport, as well as dry ports to decongest Lagos Port and encourage more patronage to grow the country's gross domestic product, GDP. Moving the motion at plenary by Mark Essert, the House noted that Nigeria had 6 major seaports, including Apapa Port and Tinkan Island Port in Lagos. Despite having 6 seaports in Nigeria, Apapa and Tinkan Island ports in Lagos had remained the nation's major economic gateways, while the rest remained either mostly idle or totally non-functional. Essert noted that due to the operation of other seaports, the Apapa and Tinkan ports are currently operating 3 times above their capacity as they handle over 60% of Nigeria's bound import and export goods, thereby making it extremely difficult for trucks to clear their goods on time and resulting in loss of labor and resources. The First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, says women will play a pivotal role in nursing Nigerians back to health. She was speaking after a closed-door meeting with wives of former APC Governor